what I wanted us to do was kind of tie in a little bit of what we did on Monday. We're pummeling for the underhook and then going for the Ogoshi. But now I want to go to Kesa Nage, which is very, very similar. And why I wanted to bring the pummeling more is like the pummeling is like, it's like a really important concept. I said it last week on Monday, that it's a really important concept of learning how to like get control. It doesn't matter if you're on the ground, you're on standing, it's just grappling. So understanding how to feed for those underhooks, get the control of the body will pay dividends no matter where you are, okay? So first off, when we're pummeling, when I'm feeding, so right, we'll switch again. When I'm feeding for that underhook, that's when we start getting our movement. So when you guys are feeding here, it's like you start changing, like when we get, when the change is happening, I drive that hand through and pull them in, all right? What we're gonna do now is we're gonna switch, either you stand in side clinch and we would go for Ogoshi, okay? Or we're gonna come to the the underhook and get control of the shoulder. We're gonna go to Kesa Nage. This is a little different throw, same adaptation, same like movement pattern. It's just with a hand difference, the hand position is different. I like the feeling of this. I feel like I get a lot of strong control over the shoulder and his movement. More in the back, when I go for Ogoshi, feels looser, okay? So over here, just go the same thing. I'm gonna step across and throw, all right? So we're gonna go to the same drill we were just doing, back and forth. But when you get the side clinch, go for Ogoshi. When you get the underhook, you're gonna go for the Kesa Nage. All right, so one more time, pummeling, and as, don't keep going, I'll do it. Now, I get to my grip, I go to the Kesa Nage, step forward, get my throw, and then it'll be his turn to go. All right, so let's go back and forth, all right? We're gonna go for 2 minutes on this one with your partner, and again, we're gonna switch partners. Questions?
So Kesa Nage, that's still off the hip then?
Still, it's exact same movement. Like your legs don't change. There's just little different hand positions that some people might be better at Ogoshi, that feel better there, or some people might be better having the hand position there. You're gonna find out right now what feels more natural.
So you still want to get your ass like all
Yes, ass across, low. Or we were doing with Graham and Heather on Mondays, taking that wide combative stance. So if you feel better this way, and still bring them over the hip, that's fine. The difference in a wide combative stance and Tai-Tosh is I almost like a horse stance. My toes are still pointed forward. When I go to the Tai-Tosh, which Graham does really well, I'm more coming to this position. So that's more of a leg trip. The Ogoshi still hips. You want to feel like when you're throwing them, they're riding across your hip, whether you're coming and entering that way or whether you have the combative stance, all right? People who have poor hip flexibility tend to have a hard time with that combative stance because they can't get that like feeling of driving their hip across. So that's why it's sometimes a little easier to kind of skip into it. All right, but play with both and go from there. Any other questions? Good. All right, so like I said, we're gonna go into the combative entrance. We're gonna use the W1. The W1 is if he's throwing straight punches or either jab or reaching, like he's like grabbing and throwing a punch. But we're gonna play off the killing the lead concept first, meaning it's a reach or it's a punch where he's going with his lead hand or his long hand first. Does that make sense? Lead hand, okay. So Dave's gonna reach as he's doing it. If he does a punch or hand, we're thinking about killing the lead and just tapping it. And then at the same time, we're gonna do a 2-for-1. We're gonna put our structure up to defend in case he is throwing a hook punch or throwing straight. We have a defense in place, but we're also at the same time using it to enter in and think about trying to take his head off like with a standing elbow. So he throws that punch, boom, I'm trying to enter right into that spot. At the same time, cover my line, all right? From here, we're just gonna go open hand, think about hitting that back of the neck hard. Sometimes if we add a headbutt in here, I like having a headbutt. If you don't want to do the headbutt, you're still doing the same thing. We're gonna be kind of moving through in here. So you guys can see. The way I grab his hand is important. If I'm coming like top down on it, no thumb, I'm not trying to grab a hand out of the middle of the air. I'm just trying to like hit it down, put a structure in place. Like I killed this arm, it's dead. Like it's mine now, it's not in play anymore. That's why I kind of mean by kill the lead. It's like I've got my hole by entering in. When I'm in here, I'm just thinking about feeding that hand through to my Kesa Nage, okay? If I add the headbutt in here, I'm using a headbutt to travel through, take a space and get that arm. So we got this feeling of like driving through and getting that strong underhook position that we were just working with pummeling. Now from here, we're step in front, the Kesa Nage. We're gonna go right to the submission today. If you notice with this, Aiming Ogoshi too. Sometimes we stand and let the arm come out. So we go like we did a step over arm bar or seated arm bar that we did. This time the elbow, the hand is gonna stay in the armpit, all right? And then think about taking the ridge of your hand or your forearm and putting it right below the divot in his elbow. So everything, that funny bone spot, take that point and kind of jam it right in there. And think about you're pushing against the elbow. So when I get in here, you'll watch Dave, oh, see he gets a little reaction out of that. Now I take the other hand on bicep and I turn it over. You can already see he's getting uncomfortable and I just slowly roll my shoulders back. So some people call it like a wing lock, but basically I'm pinning the hand into my armpit, using the other hand to kind of straighten it out, but pushing against the elbow like we normally would do, and then locking it up. So again, he's gonna throw that, he's gonna throw a jab, I'm gonna enter in, add the head if I want, travel through, get to my underhook position. Again, I'm traveling through, I'm taking space, I'm not just allowing him to stay still, I'm coming through him. Now I'm gonna go for my Kesa Nage. I stay rooted or connected to him. Right underneath that elbow, I start pushing there, rolling on top, and finish it off, okay? Let's start off with that, and then we're gonna go through 2 variations of that finish when someone bends their arm, or just kind of nastier application of that as well. Questions? Let's do it. Okay, same exact thing. We're gonna look at some finishes of that arm bar or that arm lock because as you probably saw when doing it, a lot of funky things happen, especially when guys start turning their elbows, all of a sudden the submission goes away or you can't get it right away. There's a few kind of tricks, little tips we use with that arm to kind of lock into place or kind of a little more brutal way to finish it. So we're gonna start same thing. He's gonna throw that jab, enter in, add our headbutt, come through, Kesa Nage. Okay, first, let's just say he starts bending it. What I wanna do is think of taking my thumb and hooking it and bringing it back out. And now, oh, sorry. If I can hook it back out, he starts turning. You then step over the head and behind the armpit and finish it right there. So it just takes slack, or takes the need to try to redirect it with the hands. I just slide. If I get it here, I start pushing it out, slide over, and it's right in that spot. So I basically use the armpit itself and my body mechanics coming down to submit. If anybody, we do some actually on the ground. Kesa Nage, we step over the head with that in our armpit. You can finish like that. It's the same exact submission. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2. Come through, and he turns his arm completely around. All I'm gonna do is stay pinned on his head and crank the shoulder. Okay, so that's just a very simple Americana, staying on the same side. You can step over the body to kind of keep him stable, but I found if you just kind of really pin that neck and shoulder to the ground and be really heavy with both knees, you're gonna get it no problem from there. All right, one more time. I just go on the back so I don't have to keep going in there. Good. So what I'm saying is, what you can do is you can step over, trap it, sit down and do that whole series. Or when you're here, you just kind of pin it, drive his face down, and then snap it in. Because he's gonna want to escape this way. If I put my knee right in that shoulder, I've got that control. All right, so we're gonna do the same exact thing. Kesa Nage, W1 Kesa Nage, and then add the knee slide over to the armpit lock, and then add in the standing Americana shoulder lock. Questions? Do it. Get some footwork in there, guys, too. Don't stay static. Keep going. Good throw. Don't keep your feet static. Keep it moving like you're moving like in a fight. That's the Graham. Good. That's fine. Nice.